Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome here. I'm Chris Romano, and we are here in Brentech. We are in the United Kingdom. We are here in a pretty short track. Usually it hosts the British GT and the GT World Challenge. Today it's the Endurance, and quite effectively we are practically using the same format as the British GT. We've got the GT3s and the GT4s both in the same track at the same time. For who follows the, as I already mentioned twice, the British GT, you all know that it's quite a bit of a mess and mayhem with a lot of door-to-door battles and whatnot. So we are not really expecting anything less from today's race. Remember, this is a championship, so it has prizes, and these are the current standings in the endurance class. Let me take them quickly. So yes, this is the correct one. Let me just refresh. And so these are the current positions in the championship. Simmer Sanders Bebarnia has more than double the points of Carbon Motorsport, with Difference Racing, Team 42 and Firefly Racing following. So at this point, it's not like there is much battle up front in the higher class, whilst in the lower class we've got the GT4s and we've got Calit Racing Team about 1,000 points. Well, actually it's a bit less than that, in front of Bushell's Racing Team, with Kalala Racing, Apex Predator Racing Team and Ford Club following in 5th place. So in both classes we've got a very nice battle for the podium, but as already mentioned, there is only one place that receives the prize, and this is the current prize. Oh, this is the current calendar. As you can see, we are in Brands Hatch. Next week it's Bathurst, then Barcelona, Silverstone, and the grand finale in final week of September in Nürburgring. Not the Nordschleife. The Nordschleife is for the Case-King.de Pro Series. We've got the Nürburgring GP only. And this is the prize pool for all the series, but you can see also the ACC Drive Endurance Series. Only first place receives the prize, which is a bundle of 10 lifetime licenses for ACC Drive, which is a very nice tool for you all. You can practically be the manager of your team and have everything under control as if you were on the track yourself. But also, let's give a moment to all of our series, as we got the ThinkMesh GT3 series, which gives to the first place finisher in the championship of NM Pro LFM edition. And there is a raffle. 2 lucky drivers will receive an M2X pair of gloves. Goes it up to GT3 Sprint Series, offers the winner of the championship a 3-month subscription to their program. And there is also a raffle, 5 winners in the top 50 for a monthly subscription. And then is the GT4 Series with the Paddock Legends that offers the winner of the championship a €50 coupon, and 2 raffles, one of the value of €25 and the other for €10, both coupons for, or actually all 3 are coupons for the website. And also there is obviously the Pro Series with their prices in the Case-King.de series. But at the moment we are looking at also the results from Imola. As now they just refreshed it with LFM Esports. They won the race by 14 seconds on 5-star racing. 2 5 competitions that ended the race in 3rd with Simmer's Endurance and QRT Esports, completing the top 5 in their BMW with only 8 cars on the lead lap. The situation in GT4 is slightly different, with the QRT Esports that actually won and lapped the entire field, with Kalala Racing, Bushell's Racing Team following in 3rd, Firefly Racing, and the 2nd Bushell's Racing Team in 5th place, with the entirety of the field being lapped, except the QRT Esports, as already mentioned. Now it's time for qualifying in Brentech. 20 minutes for our drivers, and remember, they have to Where is my... Okay, thank you. They have to keep themselves on track at the same time with the GT4s. And honestly, I'm not really expecting anything less than total chaos. As you can see, there is a good chunk of traffic forming on the final part of the final sector. But in the meantime, Tobias Lungeberg for Quality Racing Team in the Ferrari 296 is on the way. Only one Mustang apparently in the field at the moment. In the tower, maybe you are new to the LFM series, but on the left, on the tower, you will see various datas that will rotate as the time progresses. For qualifying, you will see the session best relative for the majority of the time, with the nationality and the manufacturer that are rotating on a shorter basis. Ferrari driver currently going under the bridge here and into the never-ending right-hand turns. A complex of about 6 turns, depending on how you count it, but effectively it is just, in a sense, only 2, since after the second sector ending line, there is an entire right-hand turn, but depending on the track layout you are looking on, it may change, and it may also vary on the amount of right-hand turns. At the moment, Langeberg goes quicker than Velten, and now Edin in the 107 is in second, with Anatoly Kritin being in the lead. The 106 at the moment for Team 32 in the McLaren with the Inception livery, currently leading the field. And in GT4, nobody still set a lap, so we still have a purple lap in... no, okay, never mind. Ricky Lafleur for Quality Racing Team actually put the car on a valid lap time, currently in the lead, and being the only car that effectively set a lap time. Nobody will keep the current position because it's a first lap, and usually the first lap in Brands Hatch is always very, very slow, mainly because the tires still have to heat up. It's a very short track, and the leftest part of the race car has lower pressures compared to the right part, as Tobias Lungeberg is back in pole, as the CRT Ferrari is here in first place with a 23.2. As I was saying, the leftest part has lower pressures because the car steers on right-hand turns for the majority of the racetrack. As you can see from the layout, there are just a handful of left-hand corners. To be honest, it's literally 3. Only 3 turns are left-hand, as my broadcast exploded for a moment. As the QRT car of Liam Walsh, the 103, is now in pole position with a 22.855. And Shops follows in second place, 23.127. But apparently, the Ferrari driver is still improving. As you can see from here, not anymore apparently. Walsh was a 10th quicker. Now he fell off again. In GT4, ooh, Jimmy Julians just went on with a purple. 31.520, only 12 milliseconds in front of Matty Yates, and Arrow Reigns follows another half second behind. Very, very slippery Aston Martin here, the 402. The 404 is improving, the Ginetta driver for Apex Predator Racing Team. Not sure why certain cars don't have a livery. Usually the 404 is one of those cars that has a livery. But this time it's not like this. As an Aston Martin goes just in the middle. That was... can't pinpoint. This was David Santovenia. 128. And... Calavalla, yellow flags. Maybe there was an issue for Ferrari driver. Alexander Zvagin went on to put the car in second place, 22.922 for Pepega Motorsport, and now also for him that's out of a valid lap time. Philip Wiedemann is in third, 23.100, just set on his third lap. But you can see from let's have a look from Wiedemann's point of view how busy the track is. He will encounter a lot of GT4s. Probably not, maybe not this lap, but he certainly is in traffic. But from GT3s actually, as there is an incident. Apparently there's been an incident between two cars in GT3, the 120 and the 115. I think they collided with each other. Look at this, it's quite the traffic. You can't really have a clean lap. You have to hope for it, and then you can see here now Wildmans can't really go anywhere apart from following. Oh, there is a car off. Oh, there are two cars off. What just happened there? I think it was the GT3 that collided with the 125. There was an incident there, and then you can see here on the left side there is an Aston Martin GT4 that is on a lap time. That can't be impeding. Otherwise, a penalty can be given to one of the cars. But let's look at what happened from here. That was just in front. There are a lot of cars at the moment. Let's see if I can get a look. Oh yeah, it was a contact between the two McLarens. Fortunately, the replay didn't show me the exact situation. And this is another incident. This time between a GT3 and GT4, as I was mentioning early on. Crashes can happen also between classes. Oh yeah, unfortunately, the Ginetta was on a lap, and I suppose the Aston Martin was also on a lap, and they both collided, leading to a crash. But this is interesting because at the moment there are 47 cars, of which 34 GT3s. So they kind of have to keep themselves at bay, as there is a fastest lap of the session. So it's Liam Walsh back in pole. He was already in pole, but he just improved 22.685. Kirutin with a 880, just set a couple of seconds ago, actually 15 seconds ago. And Sviagin on a lap now. You can see how difficult it is. There is a lot of traffic. James Williams still in the lead in the class qualifying session. As never mind what I said, because Ricardo Morgan goes quicker than anybody else with a Mercedes GT4 with a 31.390. 409 is now in the lead of the questioning the GT4 class, effectively acting as a support series. Only 10 cars. I think I counted 10 cars in the GT4. Let me just... Apologies, it's 12 cars in GT4 at the moment. As Dan McConnell is currently improving by quite a big chunk. There has been another incident, by the way, between a couple of cars. The 101 should have enough to put the car in pole, and he goes over the line to put the car in 7th place from 12th place. So let's have a look at the incident that just happened between the 112 and the 405. It's Make Svatko for Strider Motorsport. Let's see how it happened. There was a Cayman. Maybe? No, it was... Oh, never mind. It was actually a GT3. No, it was a GT4. Yeah, it was a Cali Racing team. In the Aston GT4. At times I don't recognize the GT3 between the GT4. As Quanta Racing just sitting on the apex. Quite dangerous there. You can see a lot of cars getting involved in its surroundings. That is Tobias Longeberg, now in 8th place. He was in the lead about 10 minutes ago. And he never really improved. He's 23.2. He's been struggling. I wonder if it's because of sheer luck. There is a lot of traffic. It's going to be very interesting in the race. And I'm quite sure I will be missing some incidents, but at the same time, I'm sure we will have plenty of action and events. Ginetta, luckily for Lungeberg, is on the main straight. Will the Mustang also get away? There is a blue flag, so I suppose that car is not on a valid lap time. Lungeberg is just tied with himself as the Mustang goes away, but you can see that it's distracting, and also there is now a Mercedes in the middle of the way, also on a lap. But this combination of cars that are not on a lap time are a lower class. There is another incident, this time between shops in the 102 and the 131. Two GT3s collided. That is also possible, as Lungeberg will not be able to improve, and this is what happened to Gernandt out of the pits. So probably you can see from the rear wing. Oh yeah, there was an incident. A little one, but that's impeding. That's technically impeding. As one car came out of the pits and the other was effectively on a lap time, but didn't even start it. Oh, and then you can see Kozubek was unfortunately behind a Mercedes in a lower class. Oh, there is another contact there between a Maserati and Kozubek himself. A lot of struggle to get effectively out. Oh, there is also a McLaren colliding. That was another car colliding. It was David Rancagno. Yes, that was David Rancagno colliding with the McLaren. And also there are more cars out of track. I can't really... decide where to start for all these cars that are effectively bumping with each other. There's been also another incident. This time it's between the 125. That's Fede Martinez in the Predator Racing team, in the McLaren, and also Ginetta. The Ginetta, that's the 403, just on the hairpin. Was it a big incident, or was it a... Oh, yes, that was a bit of an incident between the two cars, and the QRT was also involved. So more bad luck for the QRT driver, Liam Walsh. He's already in the lead in the qualifying standings, but the QRT driver can probably improve a bit more. Mesut Haydin, 11th place at the moment for the 107, improving in the first sector. Will he be able to do so in the rest of the racetrack? As there are... Oh, there is a lot of traffic. You can see from the new up. Look at that train of cars. Probably Haydin may be in trouble as the time progresses. In all of these, Ricky Lafleur just put the car, the 405 for CRT, the Aston Martin, in pole back again with a 31.165. That's Ricky Lafleur now in the lead. of the GT4 standings. There has also been Urban Chronotis, apologies, for Takelicius in 14th place now. And Philip Veldman, who is improving. But you can see the monumental amount of yellow flags. I honestly don't have enough eyes. I just have to go with the vibe, because I don't really know where to look in the session. 3 minutes to go, and it seems like a race for how much action has happened so far. But the McLaren is on a lap time. No, it's not. So maybe the Ferrari is. And if it's not, it's going to be impeding. But probably the Ferrari is on a lap, and Wiedmann can just remain behind. He was improving, unfortunately. He was improving by about a tenth. That would be enough for second place, actually. And he has to slow down and maybe even get into the pits. No, he remains out. He hopes that the yellow Ferrari will get out of the way, so Wiedmann will not improve. But again, he was improving up until the final 2 corners. That was the Danish shops getting out of the way. Now in 6th place. And the Ferrari is going to get overtaken by Philip Wiedmann, but Wiedmann already lost a lot of time, so he will not improve. Someone that may improve is actually Sven Freytag for Pit Speed Racing. He was 1/10 below himself. Not sure if the Porsche driver will be able to improve his position. There is a chance, but there is also traffic. As you can see, that Lime GT4, that's an Aston Martin. Oh, that's also the Ferrari going for an overtake on the McLaren that now gets in the middle of the way. Now there is traffic, and now the Porsche will not improve. Definitely will not improve. Nobody will improve in this chunk of cars. Mesut Aydin 3 times in the first 2 corners. So he has to be lucky. Well, he is lucky. The 1-2-2 is the next car ahead, but it's going slowly. And then the 1-1-1 is miles ahead, so probably the 107 after 20 minutes has a clean lap from 12. If you can remain clear in this lap, those 3 attempts may translate in a gain of, well, 7 positions at least. He could get into the top 5, so it's fundamental that he gets this lap together. He goes over the final 2 corners now. A banked corner here, the left-hand side, which was actually used for the F1 movie as a substitute for Spa-Francorchamps. And Aydin, he can finish the lap. He gains a lot of places. He actually is in 3rd place, not even 5th, he's in 3rd. Aydin, after 20 minutes, he finally finds a single valid lap time where everyone was far away from him, and he managed to complete it. He will not be able to go on for another lap. He is happy with his 3rd place. That was a majestic lap time for Mesut Aydin, and Starting Motorsport will be able to start at least in 3rd place, maybe worse, but certainly in the top 5. Freytag was improving, probably not as he is into the pits. And Javi Garcia, he is also improving. This is the perfect moment for many drivers, because the track is actually way emptier than it usually is. And so Javi Garcia for Moonblack Racing Team can be able to complete the lap and to gain positions. The 118 goes from 20th to 14th. Another car that improves massively its position. Stefan Kozubek from 28th place. Oh, just went wide. He was improving a lot and he just went wide. Very unfortunate. I don't think he will improve. Yeah, he will not improve. He's going slow. He goes into the pits, so no improvement for Kozubek. Unfortunately, he will start in 28th place. Nikolai Polyakov managed to jump everyone. Polyakov now in the lead. That's the 401 in the Maserati. A whole second. 30.2. Closest car is Ricky Lafleur in the 41.1. with Ricardo Morgan that kept his third place at this point, and James Williams behind. There weren't many movements in GT4 field. That was quite an eventful qualifying session, and the race still has to start. 3 hours to go, and a formation lap, and 4 minutes. Okay, actually it's a bit more than 3 hours, but you get the point. I just hope everyone will have a good time for this race. Let's now see if the grid is ready. Probably it is. So let's just get ready with it. And so we can see the QRT Esports starting in first. That's a 103 QRT Esports, the Ferrari driver. The Ferrari drivers will start in first, and Natalie Kritin will start in second place for Team 32. Mezzo Tedin with a very last moment throw in, he gets into third. Alexander Zviagin, fourth place for the 104 Pepega Motorsport, and fifth place for Lucas Deering, the 113 BMW for Aeroline Racing, and Philip Widman will both start in fifth place. Then we've got the 111 for Kaiser Racing Team, Tobias Lungenberg and Max Schmitz, sixth place for the Ferrari duo. Sergei Shaposhnikov for Red Core Racing in seventh place. Stefan Vimotsar, the Porsche driver, will start in 8th place for Pit Speed Racing. Then Shops for 255 competition by Ghost Setups in double with Wojtek Neuwirth. And at the very tail end of the top 10, Josh Boothby and Ben McConnell for 255 competition by Ghost Setups. Gigi Togashvili, the Georgian driver, will start for Rookie Rockets in 11th place. Thorsten Dragon for Dragon Racing Team and Moritz Vrobel, 12th place for the MG duo, 13th place for Pranav Karlavala and Dirk Donk for Visceral Esports, and Javi Garcia in a Mustang for Moonblack Racing Team, 14th place for the 118. Number 128, that's David Santovenia and Alberto Betio for Predator Racing Team, and Uburn Canotis Trakelicius, the Canadian driver, will start in 16th place. 17th place for the 124, that's Elmer Rebolledo and Sebastian Quesada for Canta Racing. Johannes Meyer and Rai Xanatos for Stratton Motorsport, 18th place. David Rancagno, the Spanish driver, will start in the Predator Racing Team McLaren in 19th. That's a very nice livery too. Mill Hill, the British driver for McMill Lawn Care, 20th place for the Ferrari driver. Nico Velten, the German driver for Renstal Lützendorf, will start in 21st place. 22nd place for the Audi driver in the Scherer livery. TV Racing, the two French drivers, will start in 22nd place. Mace Vatko for Tratter Motorsport, 23rd place for the Beamer. Kirill Petrov, the 115, will start in 24th place. And Fede Martinez, McLaren driver, will start for Predator Racing Team, even him in the McLaren, 25th place for Martinez. Ivan Lopez, the Andorran driver, North Racing Team, 26th place for him. Piotr Maksmiak and Mikhail Makshov, Team 30. Stefan Kozubek and Pascal Kozubek, the two brothers for Kozubek Racing Team, that's quite appropriate, 28th place. Andrew Sanchez and Armando Sanchez, I think they are also brothers, for Team Speed, that's quite peculiar. Both brothers are on the same row, practically. Maximilian Gernat and Patrick Hoyaka in 30th place, with Anno Reimann and Marty Fox for Fox Racing in the McLaren. Then we've got Sebastian Borel and no one else for Naga Racing YouTube community, the golden and golden black McLaren. Oversteer performance with three drivers, Christian Sherlow, Michael Egel, and I didn't pick the third on time, apologies. Ignas Astrakas for Gribis Racing Team, and finishing your GT3 field, Primo Soldini for TX Racing in a Bentley. Then we start with the GT4 field, the 401 Maserati Ford Club, Nikolai Polyakov and Anton Klimov. Then we've got the French duo, which is not French, apologies. Complete miss. Ricky Lafleur and Michael Mies. Then following Riccardo Morgan in the Mercedes. I can make it. Just messed up the grid a tiny bit. Apologies. Cavallo Racing in 39th place and Matthew Yates in the Ginetta Apex Predator Racing team in 40th place. Aaron Reigns in Apex Predator 41st place in a 404. And we've got Goncalo Viegas, the Portuguese driver for Play Team, 42nd place. Tobias Cohn in the Bullshorts Racing team Aston Martin, 406, position number 43. Acheronio for AKBO Racing, that's 44th place. Andres Nikolanesh, I butchered this name, I'm really sorry. 45th place for him. Makoto Kobayashi for Celestial Sphere, number 411, and finishing your 47 drivers, 47 teams grid, Kisbet Performance in the MG GT4. As we go now, the very top of the field. After I'll be honest, I may have butchered a couple of names and teams. I'm really sorry, but I wasn't a rusher at a point, and I may have missed a couple of marks. But anyway, we are now in. I'm a human after all. We are now in the formation wrap. It's also quite difficult as an Italian to speak in British, also going for German surnames is quite tricky, I will say the least. Anyway, Mezzatadin in 4th place, we'll stay with him from the helicam. As you can see from here, we are now 3 hours away from the checker flag that will roll. Oh, there's a car! Oh, there's a crash already! Mezzatadin collides with... that was the QRT car that didn't start properly, and also more collisions. That's also Philip Wedman, probably in the outside. That's Tobias Lungenberg that went on the outside, and this is the lead, finally creating terrible mishap for the QRT esports. Something very, very tremendous happened. They just didn't start the race. They kept the brakes on, and now the QRT car is only in 2nd place. But more importantly, Mezzatadin lost the podium position already, and the car has damage on the front end of the car. Luckily, it's Brent Hatch, but he's now in 6th place after making the overtake on Sven Freitag. McConnell in 9th place now from 10th place. Remember, the 101 is the 255 competition by Ghost Raps, already defending from a car from behind. That's oh, I can't see. That was actually apologies. That was the sister team defending from Dragon Racing team. And Dennis Shops is in 10th place now, so a battle against teammates. And that was also an overtake. That's Dan McConnell in the front of Sergej Schmack. Oh, there is a catch! Oh, there is a car off! Spinning in the middle of the racetrack. More cars colliding. That's also the GT3. That's Javi Garcia in the Mustang that's falling down the grid. We'll see the incident afterwards. And Dennis Shops now is in 9th place. That car, that was the 114, spinning in the middle of the racetrack, and unfortunately now it's at the very tail end of the field. Anatoly Kritin leading the race comfortably by a second on Liam Walsh, with Alexander Zviagin following in 3rd, and Philip Wiedemann in 4th place. 5th place for Tobias Lungenberg, that lost a couple of places at the beginning of the race, then gained them back. But more importantly, we have a battle here. That's Elmer Robledo gaining the place, the Mexican driver. Oh, there is a contact once more. The 124 didn't gain anything as the car goes now into the grass. More crashes in the beginning of the race, and that's also more positions lost for Calavala. Kronotis gains a couple of places. That's the 120 Ferrari driver. The Tracklicious Ferrari was the protagonist and the actor, and effectively the one that created the incident, so probably a penalty afterwards. And David Rancagno is now in 14th place with Calavala, that was mentioned. He actually was just a bystander there. He didn't collide with the other Ferrari, which is now in 28th place. Elmer Rebolledo here in the 124 for Canta Racing. Very unfortunate there, and Bentley is losing or gaining a position. That's Andrew Sanchez losing the position. The McLaren. Oh, there is Rosolini now into the gravel. So that's a loss of several places for the Bentley driver that goes back on the race track in 33rd and last of the train, not last of the GT3 field. Svatko gains back 1 place. That's 17th place for makes Svatko. And also a bit up front, that's Rancagno losing the place on Kalapala. 13th place for the Ferrari driver, and that's Visceral Esports. So the Indian driver is now in 13th place. The 105 probably still has to complete more passes to get back to the 5th place. That's predicted from the strength of the field, because yes, the number is not chosen, is given based on your performance compared to the rest of the field. So the 105 is predicted to finish in 5th place, and for example the 101 is predicted to finish in 1st. Oh, there's a car off. That's Santovenia off. The 128 is now in 25th place for Predator Racing Team. Some trouble there, and the Cretin is now here in 1st place, but maybe, just maybe, we just have the time to get back to a couple of incidents that happened so far. It was a Mustang, remember, there was a Mustang that was spinning. That was also Ferrari involved, and it was the 118. Let's see if I can pick back the incident from early on. So yes, this was the mayhem that happened for Javi Garcia, now down 33 positions. You can see up front the Ferrari spinning in the middle of the racing surface, and unfortunately a collision from behind threw the car into the wall. That was unfortunate for Javi Garcia that found the wall. So that's why the Mustang is very much down the grid. Now back on live, because there is a possible battle for the lead. That's Liam Walsh, after whatever happened at the very start of the race that made him lose a couple of places. He then gained at least 2nd place. The effective car that was the most damaged is currently in 6th place, starting from 3rd. That Mesut Aydin in the starter Ferrari. Okay, and the Cretin defend from Walsh, but well, it's advantage, so it's not really that difficult, but never say never. The Ferrari could throw the car and make it up front. There is another car. Oh, that's Theo Falcon in the 1-2-3 26th place at the moment, and Ivan Lopez in the 1-2-1. Something just happened to the 2 cars. Let's see exactly what happened. So we got Ivan Lopez here with the Audi driver. So was it a dangerous move? Oh, it was a throw into the inside. Oh, yep, that's a collision for the Audi. It's a collision for the Audi that then dropped like a stone. Still Liam Walsh. For some reasons, a couple of teams are not showing their team. That's very odd. Not sure why. So the QRT car, quite recognizable by the livery, is just behind the current leader. This touch, so it's also highly possible that this becomes a qualifying race. And Fede Martinez once more involved in an incident. This time, was it all on his own, or was it just contact from another car? So you can see the Ferrari. Let's try it. Oh, the inside move, a very late move also, and that ended in a collision for the 2 drivers. As we go back into the lead, 23.4 for Cretin, 23.5 for Walsh. We have to wait some time to see if any overtake is possible. recruiting just defending here. So far, no fuss happened. We can probably just jump here because there is the battle for 7th also. Sven Freytag barely in front of McConnell. 7th place at the moment for the pit speed racing. And the Porsche driver is effectively defending against two 255 competition drivers. So not exactly the easiest of the fights. And also Dragon is completing the terrain, but you can see the issues about having a train that some teams are effectively miles ahead of the others. Nikolai Polyakov, Lafleur, then Julians with Matthew Hughes just behind the full 03, and then there is contact here. That's Riccardo Morgan on the outside trying to defend his position. On the outside is quite difficult for the MG GT4. There is a contact between the two. There has been contact early on. There is still contact here into a couple of corners on the second sector. There's the 404. That's Matthew Hughes. Apologies, that's Aaron Rines gaining 4th place in class, with Morgan that lost his initial 3rd place. He is now in 5th in class. Slow motion racing in the middle of the battle. Quite difficult for the GT4 drivers to effectively put an overtake based in their car on the aero proficiency. It's mostly... Oh, Sven Freytag gets overtaken by... Oh, never mind. That was probably just a graphical glitch, but nevertheless I think Freytag has a good chance there for his GT3 battle. In the meantime, there is an effective GT4 battle between two cars, the same car. The 409 is battling with Gonzalo Viegas. But this time Morgan has the upper hand and remains up top. I'm not sure for how long this could go on, as Sanchez apparently had another incident. Emil Hill going slowly. Well, a self-inflicted incident of some sort. He just lost 2 places. And Tobias Korn, also yellow flag. He probably went wide, as he probably also has to let the faster cars pass by. There is a Ferrari, that's a CRT car. That was Tobias Longeberg, just nearly colliding with the GT4 just up front of him, and he lost the position on both Widerman and Mesut Aydin. It was extremely close between the two. Also, there was a possible move for Ben McConnell on Sven Freytag, who himself wants to throw the car into the inside of Tobias Longeberg now. As you can see there, that's speed racing. That was aiming at a move that didn't happen there. Maybe it can happen here, and the 108 remains behind. So still nothing to be given there. There is a good fight for position in the entirety of the field. The only effective gap that we've got right now is the one between Wiedemann and Zviagin, about 4 seconds, and the one between Totokashvili and Kalapala, between 11th and 12th. But it's very close there between Freytag, McConnell and Longeberg, effectively. As Liam Walsh apparently is getting overtaken because he's in the middle of the GT4 fights, and there is the 104 that also nearly a collision between GT3 and GT4. That was Alexander Zviagin nearly colliding with one of their fellow drivers on the racetrack. They have to cooperate. Everyone is in a battle right now. Oh, that's Kalapalov. Oh, that's the 105 off track into the gravel. He was in 12th place Unfortunately, 12th place, and now he lost it all. As we will see later on, because now we are just in the middle of everything. I have no idea what can happen there. As you can see, there are several cars in the spot of, well, 2 at best. And then you can see also there was a Mercedes there in the middle. Look at this. It's practically a river of cars, 3 wide into Brands Hatch. I've never seen that in the same class. We actually had to use another class to make it happen. And this is all that can be given in 5th place for Mesut Aydin, although Widman is just in front. For Aydin, again, there is another car in front of him that precludes him from making progress. Oh, there is a car! Oh, that's one of the 2 perfect condition cars. That's McConnell off track. That's his car into the gravel. That's Shops and Dragon and his teammate. Well, wait. Where is his teammate? I lost his teammate, effectively. Where is the other? Oh, there is Shops. There it is. I just panicked a bit. Then Shops lost the position there and makes Vatko with someone else. Tobias Longeberg effectively battling with Mesut Aydin. Look at the graphic right now. Aydin is still in front, and another car is off. This time it is Javi Garcia once more. He's already last, and this is not really helping his cause. Tobias Longeberg, can he fit the car? Apparently he did. Whether the other GT4 was agreeing with the terms or not, well, that's... Oh, there is a car off! Oh, that's Aydin! Oh, there's a collision! And that's Paint the Freytag off the racetrack! And there is the collision! And unfortunately, the Pit Speed Racing Porsche is off. And that's a crash for Freytag, now back in 13th, maybe? 14th place. 108, very unfortunate there, between 2 cars. Let's see what happened. Let's see what happened from here. Okay, it's not really helpful, because everything was happening, to be fair. Let's see from the helicam, look at that. There was a Ginetta in the middle, and there was a Ferrari that put the car into the grass, and unfortunately, the Porsche had the worst fate in that moment. And now Mesut Aydin is in 9th place after getting overtaken by Ben McConnell too. And that's another position being lost for the Ferrari driver that now has huge damage on the front of the car. It's not much the aerodynamic of the car getting ruined, probably also the suspension that may be impacted in that situation. Also, let's see back what happened to the 105 from some minutes ago. So this was the incident for the 105. Let's see. Pranav Kalavala for Visual ID Sports. He was overtaking a GT4. He went onto the grass. Nothing happened there. Oh, something happened there. Actually, he put the car onto the grass just on the front turn from the one I expected from. And he then finished beached into the gravel. So yeah, for so far this has been quite eventful. Miss Vatko, 16th place for the Stratton Motorsport car. In front of him, his teammate Johannes Meyer in the other Stratton Motorsport, and it's not what is another car off. That's Rossellini involved in an incident. Something happened to the 117. So let's see exactly what happened to the Bentley driver. So I suspect there was something with the McLaren from behind, as that's Fede Martinez gained the place. Just not in the usual manner, and there has been a mass crash apparently. There's been a mass crash with the 122 getting involved. What just happened there? So let's see exactly what happened from the helicam. Several cars were involved. Oh, unfortunately, it was an incident between the Mexican team and the GT4, which then ended up with 3 cars with damage. You can see the chain reaction that led to Kozubek having a lot of damage, and Ben McConnell managed to well managed to. I honestly think, without really looking at the overtake, there was a bit of help from Shops to get the overtake done. But just to be safe, let's see again what happened to the two teammates. McLaren passes his teammate. Not sure if it was on purpose. Didn't seem like it. But also, it's same team we're talking about. McConnell was already up front. Shops, so probably it was a team swap. As Kalevala is struggling to get the position done in front of Zvatko and Meyer. He's currently in 17th, and theoretically he should end in 5th place. There is another crash, apparently. Oh, that's a 119 getting very, very wide on the hairpin. Makes Zvatko gains the place. And there's also Jonas Meyer that may lose the place on the Ferrari. There's a collision between the two cars. The Ferrari is on the outside. Can the Porsche defend against Kalevala? On the outside still, he remains there. And from the outside, that's a very, very nice move. I'll be honest, it's a very nice move for 16th place, but that's a very nice move for the 105 team. And Visceral Esports is now in 16th place. Also Mesut Aydin, and that's Dennis Shops. Apparently the Ferrari is still not over. Oh, Shops and Togashvili maybe colliding. No, they didn't. They didn't collide. They collided. They remained fair. They remained fair with each other. But that's something very loose on the rear. Probably the tires are starting to give up. Remember, 48 minutes. That's the steam timer for everyone. So Mesut Aydin, remember that? Oh, that was definitely the rear end. Not really happy. And the Ferrari goes onto the inside on the hairpin. Can the 102 defend? No, actually, didn't even try. Shops didn't even try to defend. And the 102, the 255 competition is in a lot of struggles. There was contact, and more contact between the two cars. Aston Martin and Togashvili are fighting for position number 9, still in top 10. But the two cars were certainly in struggle in that point, and Shops lost effectively 2 places in a single lap. Very odd, considering Shops is theoretically the quickest car in the field. Oh, that's a leader off! That's the leader off track, and that's also the leader that gets inherited by Liam Walsh. What just happened to the leader? Anatoly Kritin off track. Tremendous situation for the 106. Let's see what happened from the onboard. Just Kritin flashing lights on. Oh, that was. Oh! The MG GT4 getting back on the racetrack, and Kritin probably thought that car was getting back on the racing line, but that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all, and nearly crashed with whoever that was. I suppose, looking at the track events, that was the 412. That was the 412. That was, let's have a look. It was Stefan Buster. Yeah, I think that was Stefan Buster for his bad performance. As now also there is the battle for the podium in GT4. I'm sorry that this has been lost a bit, considering all the battle that has been happening in GT3 and all the incidents and all the changes in the lead, I will also say. But now James Julians is in 2nd place, and Matthew Yates, Eric Lafleur battling for the podium position. The Ginetta still on the inside. Can he keep the position in the blue Ginetta? No, he cannot. The Expert Racing team remains, as actually loses the position on the Calais Racing Team. And now Rick Lafleur has to get back into second place, the Canadian driver. Probably angry because I remember him being... actually, he started in 4th, so that's my mistake. Lafleur started in 4th. And also, David Santamegna made it at least back in 39th place, but the GT3 driver is in a lot of struggles. Speaking of which, he's now into the gravel. And back on the racing surface. As also there was a car off, that was the 136. Rick Lafleur also lost the position on Matty Hughes. So now the Ginetta is back in 3rd place. For Apex Predator Racing Team. So the 119 is... Oh, Jens Meyer! Into the wall! Something happened to the Stratton Motorsport Porsche. There's a big name there into the wall. So let's see exactly how it happened. So Meyer and the leader in GT4 battling. No, nothing correlates the two events. It's actually Meyer on himself and went into the grass and spun on himself and then threw himself into the barrier. So that's now Meyer in 21st place. MX Vatko is currently here in 18th place. Calafala managed to gain a lot of places. Maybe too many places. What? I think the 112 actually was involved in an incident. But I can't see anything. Oh, actually, I can see something. So this happened. There's been a yellow flag for the 112 just some seconds, well, some minutes ago. So probably this was the incident. Oh yes, that was definitely the incident. The 112 just spun in the middle of the gravel on himself. And also Tokarashvili on the outside, he tries. That's Dennis Shops gaining back the place on Tokarashvili. On the inside he went, apologies. And also Lundberg managed to gain the position on the BMW driver. That's Philip Widman that lost the place on Lundberg. Now in 4th. And Widman now is in the middle of the sandwich city of Lundberg. Several cars are off track at the moment. What just happened there? I think it was Andrew Sanchez in the middle of the gravel. You can see a lot is still happening. Quite a chaotic race so far. It was, yes, there was a 136 involved in that yellow flag. So Philip Widman just behind Tobias Lundberg. He probably wants back the position. There is also Thorsten Dragon barely behind. And Ben McConnell is now back in 7th place. And nearly 6th. But more importantly, that's Anatoly Kritin in huge struggles. Because now Tobias Lundberg could make up into the podium. He goes into the inside, and that's side by side on the bridge. But there is also Ginetta in the middle. What will happen? That's Kritin actually slowing down. Kritin unfortunately chose the wrong side of the road and lost 3 places. in about 300 meters. But he probably also knows that he is not really battling for that position anymore. And McConnell barely behind the McLaren, still behind the Ginetta. At this point he is furious probably with the Ginetta driver. But Clinton is now in 6th place. Remember, he was in the lead. But after a mistake on his own, well, to be fair, it was also helped by another GT4 that was existing. Clinton is now in 6th place. Now Calafala managed to momentarily get a position out of Petrov, but he still remains on the inside. The McLaren driver, that's Petrov, loses the position, and the visceral car is now in 14th place. Visceral Sports now in 14th place, and Max Vatko, after a couple of issues on his own, well, he's battling for position number 17, although the Lamborghini behind and the Ferrari also very interested in the very same position. And oh, that's what's happened there. There's a Ginetta into the gravel. That was the car battling for the podium. In fact, that was Ricky Lafleur gaining the position number 3 in class. So Ricky Lafleur now in 3rd place in GT4 category. Oh, and that's McIntosh in the grass. And Caraval also in the grass. He lost the position. Kirill Petrov is back in 15th place. I try to keep up with everything, but it's really getting difficult right now, as many things are happening in both classes. As you can see here, that's Calafala overtaking 2 GT4s, although both of them are also battling for position. That was Tobias Korn overtaking Andreas Mikulanec in the middle of the main straight. Back to this battle. This is the battle for 17th place. Piotr Masmiak, Max Vatko, Ignas Ostatskas, and Elmer Rebolledo. 17th place, that's the battle. That's position in battle. But also there is a battle for 4th place at the moment. Philip Widman struggling a bit on Tossen Dragon that goes on the outside of turn 1. Can he make it through? Well, he certainly can make it through, but not in 4th place. Oh, that's also the bimbo into the gravel for a very little fraction of time. And that is now Philip Widerman in 5th place. Tossen Dragon is in 4th. And Mesut Edin crashed somewhere, or he just went into the gravel because I saw a yellow flag. And a position being lost on Edin's name. That's Dragon now in 4th place, Longenberg in 3rd. And what just happened to the 107? Let's give a look. Stratton Motorsport. All on himself. Mesut Edin, he was starting in 3rd. Oh, he just outbraked himself. He just went into the gravel by himself and lost the position on Dennis Shops. That's the Dragon here. So Philip Widman is very slow all of a sudden. Look at this. Oh, there is a car sideways for a moment. That was a Bentley. Gets out of the way. So Widman all of a sudden is struggling a tiny bit. He lost 2 seconds on Lungeberg. Then he lost a position on Dragon. And now, Anatoly Krytin may actually gain back at least one place. As Maximak is in the barrier. He was battling for 17th, now Mike Swatko is in 17th place. So I wonder if it was self-inflicted, or if it was... no, I don't think it was helped, so probably it was self-inflicted. Let's give a look from the splitter. Oh, the bump, then the grass. Then it just went sideways and slightly into the barrier. So back with the battle for 5th place. Apparently Krytin is still here in the battle. He never gave up. Well, actually, I would like to say that he actually gave up a couple of places by standing behind Ginetta. But now he could at least fight for a 5th place. And he will probably repair the car, so that's also why he didn't fight that much. But at least wants to stay there, and Wittmann is going very slow. And I'm not sure why. That this car managed to set very, very good times early on. And now it's just losing time. And I can say the same for Lungeberg. No, I think this was just an outlier. But Wittmann has been constantly losing some time. Not really sure why. So there is here the battle in GT4. That's the 407. That's very, very close between Gonzalo Viegas and Aaron Reigns, with Ricardo Morgan that tried to take advantage of the situation. This is the battle for effectively 5th place in class. And the one passing is the battle for 17th. And now you can see Morgan getting the position number 5 in class. Number 6. Morgan is actually in 6th place now, since Aaron Reigns is in 5th. And Morgan now gained back at least 6th place. So we have to go back to the battle from early on. Just a back and forth at this point, I know, but many things are happening. And McLaren goes into the inside of the other McLaren, the 101. Can he get the overtake done? It's still side by side. Still there. And probably not there anymore. Okay, it's still there actually. Is it going to be side by side even? Oh, never mind. Never mind, probably there was an idea, but into turn 5. To Houghton's band. Nothing was doable there. So McConnell goes back into 7th. As Calafala also gains back his 14th place from early on. So Lungeberg slowed down for a couple of laps. Dragon managed to get into less than half a second. Then he lost a second somewhere, 26.0. The last lap for Dragon, 25.3. The last lap for Lungeberg. Krytin follows Wittmann, and McConnell was in battle. So theoretically we can't really count the lap time for the BMW driver. Oh, Ricky Lafleur, something happened here. There has been an incident. Matthew Hughes all of a sudden lost position. Ricky Lafleur is now in 2nd place. What just happened here? There was an incident for the 405, so let's... actually, the 405 actually had yellow flags, so something happened to Matthew Hughes. So let's see. He was here, behind Lafleur. And, oh, that's also Calada Racing. Going on the grass. Collision between the two Aston Martins. That's Lafleur that went in. That was a little disconnection for Youths. Actually, the Ginetta didn't do anything. It's actually an overtake for Ricky Lafleur. Second place for the Calada Racing team in Aston Martin. On the outside. Very nice move, but you can see there is a lot of damage on the front end of the car, so probably that will have to be repaired at the end of the 48 minutes stint timer. The lead is literally 46 seconds ahead, and I will be honest, 46 seconds is a lot, way too much. I don't want to throw accusation, but how that happened? Because 46 seconds between two cars in the same class. So something's odd. Honestly, something is very odd. In my many years of commentary, I've never seen 46 seconds in 40 minutes. So, I mean, if it's the perfect setup with the perfect driver, yeah, okay, kudos to them, but that's maybe a bit too much. Like, even the best of the best struggles to put a whole second in the same class. It's 50 seconds the gap, so yeah. Anyway, Ben McConnell still here in 7th place, and Terry Critin in 6th place, and Philip Friedman in 5th place. And Critin is... oh, Freitag is off! Freitag off! Oh, off completely. He's not in the race anymore. So Sven Freitag... let's see what happened, because he cannot escape my replays. So was it self-inflicted? Was it a rage quit, or what happened? Or was it a disconnection? So he went into the pits and then disconnected. I think it was a driver glitch, so probably they couldn't swap the driver, because I remember that the pit stop racing were a two drivers lineup, so probably that's what happened. That's probably what happened. The driver swap couldn't be made, and so he just retired when he noticed that it was impossible to give the car to his teammate. Very unfortunate there for Pit Speed Racing, that had a collision early on. They were still in the fight for at least top 10, but if you can't deploy your second driver, you get a penalty automatically. So that's probably what happened. They just declared the forfeit at that point, and rightly so, considering your efforts is nullified after 3 hours anyway. This is the battle for third in GT4. James Julians for Calada Racing still in third for now. And the Ginetta Apex Predator Racing team started in... well, I can't really know anymore, since a couple of GT3 fell out of order. Unfortunately, I can't know the class changes. Only the overall changes, and it's very useless when you're looking at the lower class. You can see behind there was the leader. This is the leader passing through. QRTK, that's Liam Walsh. And barely behind, that's his opponent in the Ferrari, Alexander Zviagin. Oh, that's the Ginetta off into the gravel. Ginetta off into the gravel, so that's the battle for the podium. Postponed, probably. Certainly not nullified. Well, the battle for the podium is still on, just not for third place anymore. Probably for second place, though. Jamie Julians and Ricky Lafleur are 1.3 seconds capped with each other. So Sviagin still follows Liam Walsh, and Kritin still in the sandwich. As several cars are pitting, you can hear the noise of a couple of cars getting back on the wheels. And you get McConnell's attention. Tony Kritin very close to Wiedemann, but at this point they are very close to the pit stop. Remember, 48 minutes stint timer, so as soon as the 2 hours and 12 minutes to go is on screen, this means that pit stop, at least one pit stop has to be made. Otherwise you get a penalty. Drive-through for exceeding stint timer limits. Drive-through which could also become your pit stop, because it's entirely legal to just go into the pits and literally just go into the pits and exit from it. You don't have to stop, you just have to go through the pits, which is what effectively led to many cars in the GT4 field into the win. It happened many times, and it could also happen here, but most importantly, it could actually happen this time only, even for the GT3 field. In Brands Hatch, the tire consumption... Oh, there is a possible overtake there. No, never mind. The tire consumption and the fuel consumption is very low compared to the usual tracks in the GT World Challenge. And so I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of cars decide to just go on for a drive-through. And for once, we could see it happen in the GT3 field, which will make the pit stop strategy very interesting. Drago was very close to his opponent, but then he just went into the battle for second place in class, in GT4 class, and it all faded away. One car is in, that was Philip Widman. Free air for the McLaren driver, for the McLaren drivers, actually, because both McConnell and Kritin are driving the same car. The only difference is that Kritin is very damaged compared to McConnell, who is actually just there. I don't think the car is very damaged. So far nobody thought about the drive-through strategy in either classes. Oh, that was also the Ginetta going extremely wide. Once again, I would add. And again, not into the gravel. Mihail overtakes him. So, Maximilian Gernot, the 131 into the gravel. So at this point, Matty Yates, after going wide there into turn 1. Oh, apologies, it was not turn 1, it was actually turn 4 into Surtees. He's now very far away from his opponent, James Julians, and Rick Lafleur by effective disposition rule. Not transitive rule, Polish transitive rule, that's another. Anyway, mathematical lessons apart. Then McConnell goes into the pits, but it's still unclear whether they will go for full tires. Honestly, I wouldn't go for full tires. It's extremely beneficial here in Brands Hatch to simply stay ahead, whatever it costs, whatever it costs. You have to remain ahead. Jimmy Julians and Ricky Lafleur both went in and went out. Drive-through, and Aaron Ryan's the same thing. Drive-through for him too. Matthew Hughes, actually changed tires probably. And I'll be honest, I'm quite surprised there. Oh no, apologies. It was fuel only for multi use, so a bit of a different strategy. Nobody chose to simply put fuel on. That's weird. And the 101 all of a sudden sits in 4th place. So Neurp had to repair the car, the 102. All of a sudden, the 101 is in 4th place from 7th. Dragon Racing Team follows in 5th. And Max Schmidt now for Khalid Racing Team is in 3rd. I'm missing a driver, a certain BMW driver. So where is he? I can't find him anymore. As Jagin is now back into the lead as the QRT car of Andy King. That's oh, that's because the King repaired the car 42 seconds into the pits. So yeah, that's why. And that's now George Booby into the podium. The 101 is back into the podium. Well, he's back. He's now into the podium. It actually started in 10th place, and also behind Smith defending hard against Moritz Wrobel. Battle against the Germans with Schmidt and Warbel, and effectively, oh, that's where it is, Euroline Racing, 6th place. Couldn't find it. Euroline Racing now in 6th place, the 113. Yeah, I'm actually surprised nobody thought about going only for fuel. I would have done it. I honestly would have done it. To gain positions. But such is a track where track position matters in a critical way. So I'm baffled that nobody thought about it. This ride can last for about 70-80 minutes, so it would have been a different strategy at least. Oh, there is contact there. That's Wrobel now gaining the place on Schmidt. And even more so, that's also delaying. That gets a position. Or maybe not. Can't really decide. So Smith, yes, Smith is still ahead of Dilling. You can see the 113 on the right, and the BMW remains behind. So Dilling will have to try again later on. Into Druid's band, turn number 2, and it remains like this. Not changing position so far. Oh, apologies. Pittsburgh Racing is back. I thought they disconnected. Actually, I literally saw them disconnecting. What? Just okay, never mind. They disappeared. Apparently, the speed stop, but they literally disappeared from my. From my window. I'm really confused, I'll be honest. Anyway, back to position changing. There was a contact. That's certainly very dangerous for the 123 that nearly collided with the other GT4. It's fast also involved in a contact, but probably that's for position. Yes, that's probably for position with Ivan Lopez. The pit stops effectively brought some calmness back. Crichton is in 13th place now because he had to pit for 30 seconds more to repair the car. Speed Racing remain the pits for 10 seconds more, and this is a possible overtake. Oh, into the grass! Dealing nearly putting an end on his race. It never happened. Max Schmidt has to look back and in front at the same time. He effectively has to decide where to put the car, and it's not really easy. Teammate's car gets in the middle of the way, very likely. As a bit of a help to the sister team in the grown-up category. And that's Mesut Aydin, back from the dead, effectively. And he never repaired the car. Kept the car as it is, I think so. Yeah, he kept the car as it is, so he never repaired the car. He made a perfect pit stop, 32.4 seconds of stoppage. And now he is technically in the battle for 6th place. His team starts in third, had immense bad luck with the QRT car that is now in 2nd place, effectively not moving at all. That's now Wojtek Newirth and Gigi Totogashvili colliding. 1.6, what just happened there? Let's see. He was ahead of his rival. Oh, he just went a bit into the gravel, but that's not the issue. The issue is that... Oh, there was a collision. Oh, I was just stuck behind the GT4. That's just bad luck for Totogashvili. And he had to forfeit his position because of that. Max Schmidt now is not only battling with Dilling, he's actually battling with Aydin that goes into the left side of the road, which is the right side of your screen. The Ferrari, can he get the overtake done into the very last corner? On the outside he goes. It's a very peculiar move. The very same one that the BMW was trying early on Schmidt. He is now defending for position, and Dilling remains there. Side by side into the one. No collision between the two. And Dilling still there in 6th place. And Mesut Aydin remains in 7th. This is just helping Wojtek Newirth to gain some more positions. The sister car is currently in 3rd. Oh, that was a mistake for the Beamer. And Lucas Dilling is now in 7th place. Oh, there's a contact! Oh, there's a contact, and that is Dilling and Newirth ending in a collision with Dilling now in 9th place. And Gigi Togashvili gaining 8th. Very unfortunate for the 1-1-3. What just happened there? Let's have another look. So you can see from here, the McLaren sits in the middle of the way. There was an initial contact between the two, with the McLaren not effectively giving space to the BMW driver for Everline Racing. And then Newirth just sent the car without really looking forward. And unfortunately for Dilling, he was the one losing the most. Now Newirth gained the place, but probably will not keep it to the end of the... Well, probably will keep it, but at the same time he will receive a penalty for it. Situation in GT4. Situation in GT4 remains as it is. Anton Klimov for club miles ahead. Ricky Lafleur following 13 seconds behind, but remember that Klimov changed tires. Julian's another 3 seconds behind. Aaron Reigns becomes 4th after the sister team, for Apex Racing team, chose to refuel the car. And Gonzalo Viegas, 5th place. No, it's 6th place for Gonzalo Viegas in the 407 Mercedes with Tobias Korn following. Sebastian Quesada and Tom Gallard of TV Racing just switched positions. And Debian Ancagno for Proton Racing Team and Stefan Vimosar battling for position number 10, so tail end of the top 10. As there is a Ferrari in the middle of the way. Can't really... Oh, this was the 1-9. That was Mikhail Machov. still are 2 hours away from the end of the race. And a lot has happened so far. Can Arcanio get 10th place? So last lap it was a 24.4 for Svimozar and 24.3 for Ancagno. So it's highly likely that a switch will happen. Will happen in the upcoming minutes, but there is also the battle for 5th place. At the moment, Max Schmidt. Oh, that was Neuwirth. On the outside he goes. This time, Aydin has to defend against the very same move that put Aydin ahead of his opponent, now in 9th place, and Neuwirth is now in 6th, getting the place from the outside of turn 1. It's Max Schmidt being the next opponent. I will give myself 2 minutes of break time. In the meantime, we will follow a lap with Neuwirth, and I will be back maybe later. Because probably there is a overtake between these two. Okay, I will just go away for 2 minutes and then I will be back with the same energy. So I'm back. So we saw the overtake from Wojtek Nieuwirth. Now already 2 seconds in front of Max Schmidt. Mesut Aydin is the next in line to get Schmidt's position. That's number 6 in the field. Skydiver has been trying for several laps at this point. But nothing changed so far. Last lap it was at 5.1 for Schmidt, 4.9 for Aydin. The laps are starting to slow down by a good chunk. Well, in this part of the field at least, because George Boothby just set a 3.1 and Andy King a 3.6. They definitely are still hitting the hammer. But here, this could be Mesut Aydin that manages to take position number 7. Number 6, apologies, not number 7. And so this is now Mesut Aydin that, thanks to the Ginetta, to sitting in the middle of the way for Max Schmidt, just overtook the 111, and the 107 is now in 6th place, clean air in front. And probably Wojtek Nieuwirth is a possible target for Aydin. It effectively is solo driving for the whole 3 hours of this event. So go back with George Boothby, the 101. This car started in 10th place, completed a good chunk of overtakes, and now it's just at the tail end of the podium position. And here Stefan Vimotar could get a position from Lucas Dilling. Oh, now, oh, the Porsche, that's the Porsche into the gravel with a mistake, and Damian Cagno, Predator Racing Team, manages to get in front of the Porsche driver, and also the 403. Matthew Hughes also into the gravel, both cars struggling now. So Matthew Hughes probably sees his chances for a podium burning up in the air. And the Pistolari Sports car is now 14th, just where it started from after the initial mayhem. 105 now finds itself in 14th. Next objective, Anatoly Kritin, which was the car leading the race. Now it's struggling to keep up the pace. Also up front, just Boothby absolutely annihilating the field as always, as he always does. This time Andy King is the car that has to be overtaken. Decent mistake there for King that could lead to Boofby making the overtake down, and that's what happens instantly. Didn't even wait. And that's now George Boofby in second place for 245 competition by Ghost Setups. So the QRT Sports driver is still there. They can't make the pass, so he will stay in second place. Meanwhile, Levi Rancagno just overtook his rival. So this is how it happened. Into the hairpin he goes. Side by side between the two. And it was a seemingly easy overtake for Levi Rancagno. Now in 9th place. From 19th to 9th, that's a very nice it's a very nice journey for Rancagno. And Dilling is now in 10th place. Stefan Vimozar. Eleventh place at the moment. 24.7. He was a second quicker than Dilling. The early lap, this time 25.5 with an overtake for Dilling. 24.7 in technically clean air for Vimozar, who behind him has another two cars, one of which is Anatoly Kritin. This is quite a long train battling for 9th place effectively. 402. That's the car in 3rd place in class. That sits in the middle of the way, technically. And Stefan Vimozar now has to defend against Anatoly Kritin with a clean and repaired car. Kritin will probably try to get as many places as possible. He will not get back the lead, that's quite certain at this point, but even a top 5 will be quite nice to get. And in the meantime, there is also the battle for 7th with Max Schmidt and Gigi Todogashvili. Battling for 7th place. Although these two have set quite a different lap with each other. 26.8 for Schmidt, 25.9 for Todogashvili, although I suppose it was also linked to probably some back markers. Kritin, after a mistake, lost the position on Donk. I was trying to see if there was any other reason for it, but I suppose it was just an off-track an off-track into Sterling's bend. Speaking of Donk, now we are just that was very close. Seeing alongside, we are actually in the cockpit with Donk. He's struggling with one of the GT4 cars. Now Kritin probably wants back the place he lost early on. This is the current train of cars. Levi Rancagno is creating a gap, successfully creating a gap rather, with Dilling that can't really keep up. Apparently something happened to this car, whether it's tiredness, maybe something's wrong with the car, something's wrong with the pressures, or any other struggle of some kind. But Lucas Dilling is not the same as the first stint. He has been losing time, and he has been losing positions. And now he's at the very tail end of the top 10. He was battling for 4th, remember, early on, and he's now barely 10th. As Stefan Vimosar is practically glued to him. And in short time, he will be also ahead with his rhythm. Last lap it was a 5.8 for Dilling, 5.3 for Vimosar. Quite sure this lap will be the same for both drivers, but at this point I suppose it's Vimosar getting slowed down by Dilling. And Donk 24.9 and Kritin 24.6. So the two cars behind gain back the time they've lost, and so Vimosar has to move. Matter of fact, you can see Kritin's point of view, well, his splitter's point of view. And this little train certainly having a good fight, but at the same time I don't think they want the fight. They clearly want to be ahead of the others, especially Kritin, which was leading the race, and he's now 13th only. Because also there is darkness approaching, 9 o'clock in game, but 5 to 9, but you get the point. The Visceral Esports Ferrari is the one that effectively gained the most right now, since this car was effectively 20th at one point, and now it's probably going to be 11th as the Porsche is on the outside, sitting there and losing the place on Donk, defending the inside line into the hairpin. And by doing so, he's actually letting Kritin by, and that's now Vimosar in 13th place. Terrible mistake for the German driver. Now Vimosar lost the place in the wristband into the hairpin against Kritin, which was not even in the fight at that point. 1, 2, 3, Tom Villard. Tom Villard here with some struggles for 1, 2, 3 in 20th place now. Let's see what happened to TV Racing. The edge of the track limits. And then as many others into the grass in the Sheen curve, which led the car spinning and then into the barrier. Dick Donk still not over with it. The Visceral Sports driver and Lucas Dilling in 10th. This could be a back-to-back overtake into the inside. He fought about it, but he didn't completely overtake there into turn 1. Oh, the 105 just led the BMW into a trap, but it didn't work out perfectly. Dilling effectively went wide into turn 2, but didn't lose the position. And so the Australian driver still struggling with Dilling. Also important to notice that Djagin is losing and bleeding time compared to Booby and King, which both have gained about 6 seconds in the last 15 minutes. And that's Donk now into the inside, into the 105. The BMW is into the grass for a moment, and that was Donk that had to slow down a bit to avoid colliding with his rival. That's also Kritin losing the position on the Porsche driver. Stefan Vimosar on the outside, same goes for the Ferrari, and both end up with the same Result, oh, actually, never mind. Kritin manages to gain a place on Donk, and the same goes for Vimuzard. Gains back the position on the Ferrari, so now Kritin is in 11th place. Although it's still not over. You can see side by side there with the Porsche that gains the place, and the 108 is effectively back in 12th. Still not over with it. Side by side. The Ferrari back in 12th. Mozart 14th once more. Probably Donk will be able to restore a second he lost for this battle, as Dilling effectively is blocking Kritin's progresses. An hour and a half to go, so we are practically at the halfway mark. An Inception liveried McLaren trying to get something out of this. 106 tried with the inside, couldn't work with that. Now he's trying again with the inside into turn 2. Again, they've been put the fence well. Although there is a little spot available, which doesn't translate in an opportunity for Kritin. And all of a sudden, it's an opportunity for Donk, which becomes the attacker for Kritin. And once more, another attacker that doesn't conclude with an effective overtake. These 4 drivers are all losing time on Rancagno. That sits in 9th comfortably. Oh, Neuwirth. Yellow flags for Neuwirth. What just happened to the 102? This could be huge if it was contact. I think it was just a car going wide into turn 1 though. Losing some time obviously, but apart from that, it should be all clear. Oh, actually no, it was some contact. Side damage for Neuwirth. That car had to struggle, and this is a freeway battle for position number 10, with Donk getting all inside the contact with the BMW driver, and Donk gets 10th place after stealing effectively the optimal position from Kritin, who remains in 12th. So now Donk 10th place, and he leaves the train behind. So Lucas Dilling, Anatole Kritin and Stefan Vimos are still battling now for 11th place. Will Dilling be able to at least defend against Kritin? No, already Kritin into the inside he goes. Not even a lap after. Oh, that's a BMW into the grass. The 113 will be able to defend into the inside. No, actually, he cannot. He actually loses the position while remaining on the inside of Stilling's band. And into turn 9, it's going to be just the Porsche that sits on the outside. And Stefan Vimozar will not be able to complete the overtake there into turn 9, but he may be able to do so into turn 1. There's a good chance. The BMW sits on the apex, but leaves some space for the Porsche driver that now has the inside line into turn 2, do its bend, which leaves little margin for Dilling into turn 3. Yes, it is an overtake completed, so complete disaster for Dilling in the last 2 laps. He lost all the places he was defending, as he also goes wide there. trouble for dealing. And Euroline Racing now is 13th. 113, which was also involved in an incident. Well, incident, I would say in a free wide situation. Let's look again at what happened. The McLaren was sitting on the outside. Dealing effectively focused only on the McLaren, which led the Ferrari driver for Donk in the Visceral Esports Ferrari, and he gained then the place. And he's now battling with Rancagno already. The 110 is up there. The McLaren you can see there is Donk's rival, and Crutin follows another 2 seconds behind. I want the car that gained the most places. Is Ignas Asaskas. 18 places gained since the start of the race. This car was starting in 34th place overall. Now sits in 16th, maybe 15th. So 126 certainly had a nice race so far for Grips Racing Team in the Huracan. It's still not over, obviously, but 1 hour and a half into the race, and he certainly had a blast. Unfortunately, he wasn't in the live coverage that much, but he attacked a lot, and so far he definitely gained a lot. 18 places is no fit, since he's 16th at the moment. So he's closer to the leader than to his starting position. That's quite a fit. Josh Bufby now barely behind Alexander Zviagin. Ferrari driver is in the lead, but only by about I would say 30 meters at best. The gap reducing every single corner. 23.7 last lap for Bufby, 24.5 for Zviagin. As Rancagno goes into the pits. So Donk and Crutin both inherit the position. Oh, that's Zviagin in the grass, the leader. Just lost a good chunk of time. This could be Bufby's opportunity to get the leader and to run away with it. That's how he thinks about it. But oh, that's a terrible mistake for Zviagin. They just kind of surrendered the position by going wide into turn 1. Let's have a look again at what exactly happened from the helicam. It was a very odd run into turn 1 for Zviagin. You can see him just completely butchering his line. And so Bufby, first attempt, and he gains immediately the position and the lead of the race. From 10th place to 2-5 competition is now in first. Down here in the Visceral Esports Ferrari 105, 9th place at the moment. And Gigi Totokashvili is his next rival in the Ferrari Rookie Rockets. Following Donk is Kritin. So the duo certainly having a benefit on following each other rather than fighting with each other, since their aim is to at least get a top 5, I would say. She's far away, it's 30 seconds ahead, and in 90 minutes it's a bit difficult, but never say never. As the next round of pit stops will probably happen in the upcoming minutes. Already had a couple of cars getting into the pits. And Necrosis becomes another one as Mix Batko collides with Devi Rancagno that just exited the pizza. As you can see, they are still battling for position. It is extremely detrimental for Rancagno. They lost some time. What just happened to... Oh, also Sven Freitag for Pit Speed Racing involved in a battle. 1-1-2 certainly didn't really hold off from making collisions with the McLaren behind. What just happened to the two cars? So let's have another look at the replay. So first he gets behind the Ginetta and can't really pass, and the McLaren tries to get to the inside line. Oh, that's what happened. The Ginetta is into the wall. That's what happened. Ginetta into the wall, and that was a massive one. So also there was been a contact here. Pretty odd. So that was Matthew Yutz into the wall in the Ginetta. Currently in technically 4th, but effectively 5th place. And what just happened to Totokashvili and Kritin? We'll see afterwards, because this is an effective position changing between Rancagno and Freitag. As you can see, Rancagno defending well is currently 15th place. But probably this is for 10th or even 9th. As Aydin goes now into the pits from 5th place. Effectively giving us an important benchmark for these two battling, for which position. This could be Freitag's opportunity to get in front of Rancagno. And as a matter of fact, the Porsche gets the position done, 13th place at the moment. Physically on track, but that could also mean top 10. Let's get back at what happened to... So 106, maybe not. Maybe not yet, since New and Robel are battling for 3rd place. they were, with Robel now into the pits. So as I was saying, let's see what happened to the 116 and the 106. So the two were following each other. Todogashvili was ahead of the Visceral Esports Ferrari. And there was a contact. Oh, it was the Ferrari just cutting across. That's what happened. And it was not with the white Ferrari. It was actually with Anatoly Kritin. The 106 now goes into the pizza. Let's see again what happened. It was very odd. Yeah, it was Team 42 McLaren. You can see from here. It was wide, then cuts in front, and Kritin slams into the brakes as soon as possible, but collides with his rival anyway, and that's probably some damage repair for them. I think which certainly they weren't looking for. So Sven Freitag now in 12th place, just behind Todogashvili. By a second, 0.3, the gap early on was 5 seconds. So that certainly is an improvement, and Kritin just comes out of the pits behind Sven Freitag. So the battle for 10th is still ongoing after all this time. And Freitag, Kritin and Rancagno are now following the number 116. Connell comes out of the pits in third place with Zviagin following in second, and Neuwirth in third place. She's now Dennis Shops. Although Torsten Dragon is very close to mark it back in third. Yes, he goes back in third. Shops couldn't defend with cold tires. It would have been extremely important to get there, but it won't. Meanwhile, what's happening here? There are 4 cars, in my view, in a place which usually hosts maybe 1 at best. Togashvili and Kritin now ahead of Freitag. So Kritin made it back in 10th place at least, which will become 9th, very likely. The Ferrari goes into the inside, but unfortunately a blue flag car, which was, I have no idea which car it was, keeps itself ahead, but at the same time prevents Todogashvili's loss of position. Now it's very close among these 4. Todogashvili, Kritin, Freitag and Rancagno. The McLaren driver barely following since he's alongside. And never mind that once more, it was another GT4 in the middle. Kritin certainly didn't have any luck in this race. He had every bad moment possible in 1 hour and 40 minutes. Sparks flying by as Kritin went over the curb, quite literally. And Freitag will probably follow whoever comes out on top from these 2. Or maybe not. Okay, you can see them kind of trying to find something else, somewhere else, and still not able to succeed. This is for 9th place, effectively. Kritin's rival is currently in 7th, and they were one after the other, so a simple incident between Todorashvili and Kritin early on led to their battle. Which is very unfortunate for Kritin. They didn't do anything wrong in his pit stop. He just had Todorashvili himself cut the race line in front of him. And even Longeberg managed to get in front of Kritin. And that's McLaren 106. Flash on the grass for Kritin. Now Kritin trying to find another opening, probably into Pilgrim's Drop, maybe into Hawthorne Bend. You can see the train of Ferraris from Walsh to Todorashvili. This mechanic could be the brake this Ferrari train needs. Although in front of them all, it's not a Ferrari. This car is defending very well. Kritin can't find an opening. Although the mechanic is one of, if not the best car of the field. Speaking of which, the Ferrari sets the new fastest lap, Donk, with a 22.620. Even quicker than Pugby's lap times, and currently a second at least quicker than anybody else. The closest car in the last lap was Dan Shops with a 23.8, so 1.2 seconds gained on the next quickest car. Oh, this was a slight mistake for Todorashvili. Just defense again. The 116 at this point, this is not a train, this is practically an autobus convoy for Todorashvili. He's not letting anyone or anything pass by, whatever it costs. Okay, you can see twitching literally to find a scrape, an opening, a window, a door, whatever. I think sooner rather than later we will see probably a window getting created rather than Kritin using one. It keeps it like this. Kritin can't find anything because Todorashvili still remains there, and Freytag probably is thinking about making an overtake. But on the other hand, I would refrain from doing so because Kritin is as nervous as it gets, and he will not let you pass. He will not let you pass for anything in this world at this point. So Freytag understandably goes back in place. Meanwhile, Dennis Shops barely behind, Toss and Dragon literally at a palm hand for a moment. as a 114 is involved in an incident of some sorts. That's the car in... can't find the number, that's Sergei Shapochnikov in 26th place. So nothing happened here, Todorashvili still closed the border. And is not letting anyone pass or anything. He is currently posing his curriculum as a security guard. And with his rhythm, he will get every single available spot in the job, because he's not letting anything pass by. No matter how much Kritin wants it. Oh, there is a crash! Oh, both cars collided! And both Kritin and Todorashvili into the gravel, as said it earlier. A window would have opened, whether Todorashvili wanted it or not, and it ended with Kritin and Todorashvili colliding because of that. He was as nervous as he gets. He tried to get into inside. The two cars collided. It's again from the onboard. And now Kritin is in 11th place, Todorashvili behind, 1.8 seconds behind. Yeah, he simply didn't brake. And in all of these, the gap between Todorashvili and Kritin is now 1.5 seconds, as Philip Widman is in 13th now, overtaking Urban Chronotis for 13th place only. His car was in the top 5 not even an hour and a half ago. Now struggling to get 13th place for Airline Racing. So we now go back for the podium battle. With Liam Walsh, that I just noticed. Maybe it was a bit of a mistake by my side, but Liam Walsh had to repair the car and is in a way stationary for 23 seconds. So something happened to Walsh in the earlier stint, which I admit I didn't catch. And I just noticed, so I'm really sorry for that. But Liam Walsh is now only 5th after he had to repair the car for 23 seconds. So that's why he's out of the podium. So now Shops is effectively battling for the podium. Toast and Dragon, for Dragon Racing team. This team was struggling a bit in the GT4 field and chose to switch to the GT3 field, and it's not really going bad so far for them. The team is currently in 3rd. And just in front of Dennis Shops for 255 competition. After the initial mayhem, things are starting to calm down just now, since we just had a major crash in the top 10. I think it happened just a few minutes ago. It was this one here. Let's have another look at what happened to shops. 102. So there was an accident with a Ginetta. It was one of the Apex Predators, Ginetta. Oh yeah, definitely. He definitely threw the Ginetta into the gravel. That was not the cleanest of overtakes. Last lap for these two. It was a 23.9 for Dragon and 23.875 for Shops. McConnell set 24.7 and Sviagin 24.3. So they both gained on the top two. And Liam Walsh 23.5, so he effectively gained the most out of the top 5. As it stands, Shops could put the second 255 competition in the podium. Oh, there has been an accident just now. Make Svatko involved in an incident in the 112, 19th place at the moment with two Falcon. Just happened to the 112. I'd like to wait for a replay since these two are certainly battling for position. Now into surtees. Oh, what happened there? What happened there? 4 cars involved! And Liam Walsh, I was honestly, I was slightly took out of surprise. What just happened there? I just saw a car throwing itself into my screen. I have no idea what just happened. We were witnessing the action from the rear wing. And I'm struggling to understand what happened. So this is already too late. So that's Danish Shops just losing the position on his rival, Liam Walsh. I just have no idea what just happened. So let's have another look for the 107. Yeah, let's see here. Oh, not again. I'm trying to pick up the replay, but unfortunately I'm not very lucky with the replay so far. Suppose it was this one. So okay, finally I have it here. So let's see from the onboard, Liam Walsh. And so this is Liam Walsh avoiding anything and everything that was thrown at him. And this is instead Toast and Dragon. Finally, I found it. Took me so much. Don't know why. I couldn't just pick it up. So he gets... Oh, something happened there. Yeah, definitely. There was another car in the middle of the way. It was the 114, probably. So it was Sergei Shaposhnikov. Involved in the incident, which then led to this catastrophic chain of events. Okay, no, every time it keeps throwing me random cards. Okay, really useful. This should be effective incident. a hope, because it's just been a waste of time so far. So you can see there. Oh, it was an Aston going sideways. That's what happened. Finally, we have an answer. This was an Aston going sideways. Aki Raunio went on to brake, and disaster struck. Stossens Dragon is now here in the 5th place. Fortunately, the views were also not best ones. This was effectively the point of view from Devinish Jobs. It was just behind. You can see up front car going sideways. Then Aki Raunio stopped. Okay, I don't think the replay wants me in a good way. It just keeps doing anything but what I want. Fantastic. As Jenny Jobs are once again yellow flags. And Stossens Dragon gets on the inside. That's now the 102 that loses 4th place after going into the gravel. And for some reasons, I think... oh, okay, never mind. Found it. So this is what happened to Shops. Finally, maybe one replay that works as intended. But it shows me effectively what happened. It was Shops going on the grass by himself and into the gravel. Didn't collide with the wall. So that was it. Meanwhile, here Anthony Critin gains the position on David Rancagno into turn 1. So this was for 9th place. I suppose Jobs has a terribly damaged car at this point. As Sviagin is very close to McConnell. The 255 competition is struggling a bit with his second driver, and Sviagin is in very close proximity. I'm still surprised that Liam Walsh somehow managed to avoid whatever was happening by simply speeding through it, which it worked, so I guess good swing, but it's not really the usual way. Oh, there is a crash, probably 2 cars involved. That was Michael Miss, second in class. The 405. He's second in the GT4 class and effectively battling for the championship in some ways. I don't know, it was just on his own. It was just the car going into the gravel. Nothing to worry too much about. Alexander Sviagin here and Ben McConnell. battling for the lead of the race, another 23 seconds behind Leon Walsh, the only one that remains to battle for the lead, since both Toast and Dragon and Danish Shops are heavily wounded. It's Sven Freytag, yellow flag for him. He was the very final corners, and Anatoly Kritin is just behind him. So there are 3 different fights, the one for the lead overall, the one for 4th, which is among 3 drivers, because Dirk Donk is practically there, as Urban Kronos is in the gravel, and the one for 8th place, where Sven Freytag is defending against Anatoly Kritin. So we go back here for the lead. Connell trying to defend against Alexander Zviagin, and Jan Walsh is only some ways 24 seconds behind, with 1 hour to go, exactly 1 hour to go. Dragon and Shops are struggling a lot at the moment, with 25.6 and 25.8. Donk 24.0 at this point. It's not even a fight anymore. Those 2 cars will probably fall out of the battle for the podium in the next pit stop, where they will probably repair the car. Last time there was a rear wing view, a 4 cars incident occurred. It was a 24.4 and 24.5 respectively for McConnell and Zviagin, 24.6 for Walsh, and 25.6 and 25.8 for Dragon and Shops, with Zviagin trying to get into the middle of a 3-wide action, but Zviagin was just close to it, but it didn't make it happen. This could basically be for the lead, very likely, but George Booby is also all into the graphs for Zviagin, slightly off track. Zviagin struggling to get past the blue flagged cars, so we go back for the battle for 5th at the moment. Dirk Donk in the Visceral Esports number 105. And then he shops the 255 competition without a front end anymore. Oh, another contact! This time another Ginetta involved, and this time another incident. The Shops at this point is probably tired of getting tapped from every side of his race car. Not sure how much damage it requires to be repaired, but probably the answer is a lot. As now Shops has both front and rear end damage. With Toast and Dragonet is not really having less of that. These two were early on just some seconds behind top 2 and gaining, and now they are 33 seconds behind the top 2, which is battling for position itself. As you could see there, the McLaren of McConnell was a bit struggling to get past the GT4, but once more the Ferrari just follows into turn 1, into the main. I would like to say main straight, but it's not really a straight. Into the start finish line, rather. So Sviagin once more couldn't get past McConnell. These two are losing time as McConnell defends the inside line. This could be the 101's final lap in the lead, or maybe not. Or maybe not. Sviagin still remains in second. And it's very important because, as I was saying, Liam Walsh is improving his gap, 22 seconds now. And William Riffman is gaining a second per lap, which would put the battle for first in about 15, maybe? No, probably not 15. I want to say 30. I'm sure why I said 15, I'll be honest. In about 15 laps, because I'm thinking about the pit stop. So that's a lap gone. It's about a minute and a half. So 90 seconds. $30 It should be about 30 minutes. Because it should be in around 1800 seconds. Which translates into 30 minutes. So we could have a battle for the lead between Walsh and, well, if they continue these two in the last 70 minutes, 80 minutes or so. Counting for pit stop, otherwise it will be 23 minutes. I'm giving like 2 laps of buffer in that regard. Meanwhile, Dirk Donk goes on to maybe put the car in 5th. Ferrari is about a second and a half quicker than Shops and Dragon, but still he can't complete the overtake. Just to show you how good the track position is compared to the sheer pace. And so I still want to ring the bell and to say that I do expect someone to pit without changing tires for the last pit stop at least. As Donk thinks about an overtake. It was very close between Donk and Shops. No contact somehow, but those two were very close with each other. In the meantime, Walsh is now 20 seconds behind the leader. 20 seconds only. The Ferrari goes on to make the overtake, and that's the 105 ahead of Dennis Shops in Surtees into turn 4. Next objective, Thorsten Dragon. And maybe, who knows, maybe even Liam Walsh, depending on how things go. It's also a battle for 22nd. That's Nico Belten for Rensal Lancerov and Fede Martinez for Predator Racing Team battling for 22nd place at the moment. Although the Porsche doesn't have the lights on. Not sure why, probably a graphical glitch only. Because yes, I can see the lights on behind. For some reason the front ones are not working. Also, as mentioned early on, the battle for the lead still goes on, and for Walsh... oh, there is a car in the gravel. I could hear that. The 104 is very close into making an overtake. Into the inside he goes, and that is the overtake for the lead of the race. Side by side. No, it actually doesn't happen. It actually doesn't happen. The 104, Alexander Zviaki remains behind. It was a very interesting move into Sheen curve. Oh, there is a car into the wall. That was one of the GT4s. It was the 406 into the wall in Steelings Bend, turn 8. Now back in action, but clearly damaged. Icon still defending, and effectively it just has to defend until Boothby is back on the wheel. Realistically speaking, that's what we are really talking about. As soon as Boothby is back on the wheel, it's going to be free reign for the British driver. But until then, McConnell has to defend, and he's doing so in a wonderful manner. Oh, now very close to Dragon. Both of them are very far away with each other. Also, there was a change of position for Jonas Meyer. Fede Martinez lost the position number 23 and 22 on both Nico Velten and Jonas Meyer for better racing team. Duncan nearly crashes into Dragon. It was very close between the two. And Walsh 15 seconds behind the leader. And Dragon is another 16, so it's not really over. It's not really over. 30 seconds is a lot, but who knows? Maybe something can happen. Oh, the overtake goes on. Oh, there is a crash. Actually, something did happen. It was Donk making overtake on Dragon that loses the position also on Shops and also on Turi Krutin. And then Freytag both crashed on the very same moment. Everything is happening all at once. So back to one of the two incidents. This is Krutin's in the 106 colliding. Let's see how it happened. So he was in the battle with Sven Freytag, and then the Porsche tried to attack back. Oh no, it was just unfortunate for Krutin and Freytag. With Krutin lost the rear end of the race car and crashed into his rival. Meanwhile, for the 109. And the 105, let's see. This is what exactly happened between the two. Let's see exactly. So it was the Porsche in the middle of the way, Dragon on the outside. Oh, and the Ferrari just sent it through. The Ferrari from behind just sent it through. And the 109 was unfortunately involved in yet another incident. Let's see. Again, from Visual Esports point of view, as Shops goes into the pits. So let's see. You can see the Mercedes braking on the outside, Donk trying the inside line. and effectively putting Dragon out of the racing line altogether. So Dragon 6 seconds behind Donk. Yet another incident for Dragon, yet another bump from behind. It doesn't sound good. I just noticed. Anyway, Urban Chronotis, 12th place as he lost the position on Ignas Astrauskas. Now 23 places in front of his starting position. And Mesu died in only 16 for the moment. He kept the car in the pits for 34 seconds more than the usual because of damage repair. Car had to be repaired 64 seconds stop instead of the usual 32. Disaster for the Strata Motorsport that started in 3rd place, 13 places down at the moment, and now into the gravel. With Elmer Rebolledo, the Mexican for Quinta Racing, trying to get a position done on supposed defeated. Oh, and that's also probably the overtake for Zviagin on the outside. He goes as McConnell had a second of gap, then slowed down because of a GT4 that has just been passed. Oh, and that's the leader off. McConnell off with a spin from another blue flagged car, and this time McConnell is involved in the incident, in the hairpin. 101, unfortunate for them, gets involved. Let's have a look at the whole situation, how it happened. So you can see from here, not the best of cameras, so we go back to this one. Oh, it was the McLaren. It was the McLaren hitting, and then chain reaction between the Mercedes GT4 and the other McLaren in gold and black colors. I couldn't see exactly who that was. It was the 135. It was the 135 getting involved, and that was Sebastian Brel? Yes, it was Sebastian Brel in Naga Racing YouTube community. Sebastian Brel involved in the incident with the leader, and Maximilian Gernand also involved. Oh, what does happen there? Oh, it was another. Oh, okay, again, it's a 1-2-2 once more. Stefan Kosubek. And the 106, Anatoly Kryutin, once again involved in another incident. What is going on? I remember myself saying, this is now getting calmer. Well, I lied, I clearly lied. Because it's not really getting calm. What just happened to the 106? This time around, Anatoly Kryutin involved in... is it a self-incident? Or is it because of someone else? The answer is... he threw the car into the inside. Or collided with the McLaren. That was ahead of him. And then crashed into the wall. The other McLaren was the 133. That was Tano Reimann for Fox Face Racing. And also, what happened? I honestly want to see back what happened to the 122 with Kozubek getting involved. In the 122 machinery. Okay, well, apparently it doesn't exist anymore in my replays. Oh no, okay, I just found it. So this is what happened to Kozubek. The Aston Martin. So he tried to go into the inside of another car. Sent it. Oh, it was actually a BMW from Aeroline. So it was where is he? I can't find him. I can't find him anymore. Robert is back in business so after 20 seconds of damage repaired. For Neuwirth it was slightly less, 18 seconds. And here it is. Phil Widerman back in 6th place after using 10 seconds to repair the car, but the car still has to pit. That's why they are back in 6th. So, forget what I just said. The BMW still has to pit from 6th place. I suppose it will become 11th at best. Until the Cretin, even for him, it was a very lengthy pit stop. 54. Oh, Stefan Biosar! Into the wall. 108 for pit speed racing. David Rancagno is now ahead of him. 108 just crashed in the hotspot at this point. For crashes, that was into Sheen curve. I suppose he put the car slightly on the grass and then into the wall. Exactly what happened. As I was saying, Anatoly Kritin, even for him a long pit stop, 54 seconds stationary. Ian Walsh only 5 seconds behind Ben McConnell. This is effectively for the lead of the race. And in GT4, Polyakov, after pitting every single lap for tires, is now following the 405 Michael Miss. For overtake he goes, and that's the position changing between Polyakov and Miss. And Maserati is now back, at least in 2nd place. But probably in 1st, since Julians is just now pitting. Kritin barely behind Aydin. Still losing a position on the Ferrari. He tries again here, but he remains behind Aydin in the Strider Motorsport Ferrari 107. Very unfortunate. This car had a lot of bad luck. It's the very first second. Now it finds itself in the 12th place only. Josh Murphy is now back on the 101. Checking is 6 seconds ahead. And Liam Walsh is another 43 ahead. So as it stands, a full pit stop lasts about 50 seconds, and Walsh is barely in front of Wolfby. Max Schmidt is back on the racing surface, and Wojciech Neuwirth is literally glued to him. Look at this. You could see every single part of the diffuser. There's just been an incident between Tim Hill and Tom Bjallard for 21st place. We'll see the incident afterwards. We found inside he goes. It was very, very close between the two, and somehow Wojtek Neuwirth manages to get the overtake done. It was very, very close. Let's have another look at it. So look at the Ferrari. It goes on the outside, not thinking Lewis would have been brave enough to try it, and yet he did. And yet he did, and he is now in 5th place, eager to gain as many places as possible. This was the incident from some time ago between Mill Hill and the Audi driver, that's Tom Villard. What happened between the two? This was the Ferrari going on the inside. Oh, contact between the two, which led to both cars spinning, and the Audi also getting into the wall. Well, the current situation puts both Donkey and Walsh in the pits. 35 minutes yet to go. And Josh Boothby is probably going to keep himself afloat and in front of Walsh, at least. But not Sviagin, who has a good advantage. A 119 involved in another incident. This time the Staten Motorsport Porsche Ray Sanatos having some issues. So this is what happened to the 119. Oh, he just went wide by himself and then into the wall. That was very odd. No, there was another incident. This time between the 112 makes Vatko again, another Staten Motorsport, and the 402. You can see here the 402, just some collision. Nothing too eager. And Mesut Aydin. Staten Motorsport again. But this time it is their Diamond Spear. The 107 finds itself on the wrong side of the racetrack once again. It has not been a great race for Aydin, unfortunately. Is slightly into the grass, spinning into the other side of the circuit. Now he is in 15th place from 3rd as a starting point. Stefan Vimos are here. Ooh, the 1-2 currently again Stefan Hosubek. And Vimos are here just in the middle of the way he goes, nearly colliding with McLaren that gets on the outside line, the last corner. This is for 8th place. Stefan Vimosar and David Racagno on the outside, Vimosar on the inside, and that's into turn 1. The position swapped into Paddock Hill Bend, and then by Druid's Bend. That's a close discussion. Vimosar is definitely in 8th place, 12 seconds behind Moritz Frobel in 7th place. Economist at the moment finds himself only 1.3 seconds behind James Julians. Is that effectively the battle for 2nd place in class after Polyakov gained back the lead after pitting every single lap for tires. The gap between Julians and Mies has been the same for last laps, although you can see that Mies is damaged on the front. On the 116, that was Very peculiar position for the 116. Gigi Todogashvili was involved in the incident this time. And he loses the position on Natalie Kritin. So that's for 11th place. Kritin is now in 11th with Todogashvili in 12th, but the 116. So, oh, another major incident. What is happening here? With the 120. It was spinning in the middle of the racetrack. One thing after the other, 116 involved. So this is the incident for the 116. Oh, yeah, himself. He just went off by himself. And then the 120 was involved in 2 incidents. So first, this one. We are on the same point as Todogashvili. The same place, rather. We just went wide. Oh, he just been hit by the Maserati behind that was the leader in GT4. But what put the car in this state? Well, this is your answer. So you can see from the outside that the Maserati is simply ignoring the existence of urban chronotists for some reasons. And then 120, a bit of an unsafe release, which took out 3 cars in total. And then there was the 101 with a yellow flag. Josh Booby made a mistake. Right here on the calendar, this will be one of a few videotapes of a yellow flag caused by Josh Booby. That was a yellow flag. Okay, I expected a bit more, I'll be honest. Another 130, Nico Velten. A flag for him. There was another incident. This time it was between Kalafala and the 402 once again. So Kalala, Aston Martin, James Julians, which also lost the place on his rival. Oh, that's Kalafala out of track. And that's Vimozar into the gravel. Rancagno back in 8th place. And Vimozar is back in 9th. Kriti now against the car that gained the most places of the whole field. It was an easy overtake for Kritin. It goes on the inside into turn 1, and that's Rastaskas in 13th place, but 21 positions higher than the starting point for the 126. Tom Violard, oh, into the wall. The Audi driver. And spinning in the middle of the racetrack. Oh, another incident. That's one there. And who was involved? It was Michael Eagle. And Aoki... No, it was just Michael Eagle, unfortunately. And Sebastian Brell involved for Tom Viallard's incident. Which now goes into the pits and nearly crashes with another car by doing so. And now Hoika into the wall. There was a yellow flag there. James Julians, second place fight here against Michael Miss for Kalitz Racing Team. Both Aston Martins, nice billboard. Both Aston Martins, both in the same class, just different setup, because the strategy is also the same. Drive-through only for both Miss and Julians. And this is for the podium position. Yeah, not everyone is like that. There are very good drivers and good teams here. Just sometimes someone makes mistakes, and it's also Brand Hatch, and it's also with multi-class racing. So sometimes incidents happen, but I agree. It has been a messy race, this one, compared to the usual. It has been quite a messy race, and it's not always like this. Don't take this race as a sum of every single thing that happens here. This may just be an outlier, let's say. In the meantime, Neuwirth. Just 2 seconds in front of Calavala. So this could also be the battle for 4th. George Booby is only 1.6 seconds behind Zviagin. And Quesada is barely behind Petrov for 15th place. For Kanta Racing, this battle for 2nd in GT4 is also very heated up. You can see here the overtake. James Julians on the inside he goes, and that's the Cali Racing team losing the position on Julians for 1-2. No, actually he simply loses the position. And so Cali Racing team loses 2nd place in class, and so 3rd place at the moment for the 405. Maybe that will change as Sebastian Quesada and Kirill Petrov. Kanta Racing currently 16th place for the team starting 17th. And Kirill Petrov now just lost the position on Quesada. Okay, just notice that he has been banned. Lose. So anyway, now Asaskas very close to Kritin. So he kept the distance closer to Kritin, which is now in direct battle with Todokashvili for 11th place. And it's only 22 minutes to go. You know, Astrauskas. Every time it's quite peculiar. He's very close to these two, and actually he's about to make the overtake on the grass. He goes, unfortunately, chose the wrong side of the Aston Martin, and he ended up in the grass. So he couldn't make the overtake on Kritin, which could have been possible. By all means, it could have been possible. This is the battle for the lead in the meantime, and this is the effective battle for the lead since only 20 minutes remain to the end of the race. The gap is better sometimes. No, Straskas, yellow flags for him, barely, for a couple of seconds. I hope nothing bad happened to him. It's going to see the car that gained the most places. I want it to be like this. Jagin, trying to defend against Wolfby. Quite a fate it will be for Jagin to defend against one of the best drivers in the ACC world. So there's a cut off into turn 1, that's 405. That's Michael Miss. That's Michael Miss that loses second place as a consequence. The 405. How did it happen? This is how it happened. So was it self-inflicted? Once again, the very same question as always. We see the Audi going through. Oh yeah, it was a contact. It was a contact with the Audi, which threw Miss out. And that was the Audi from early on. It was, yeah, it was Tom Viallard. And, ooh, another yellow flag. This time it's Sebastian Quesada that loses the position on many, I would say. Since he's into the barrier, Quesada, how did it happen? In a very odd spot, too. So, probably contact from behind, it's possible. Oh no, he just went into the grass and then pinball with the wall. That's very important for Quesada. And both we tried to overtake the current leader, but failed attempt there, and the 120 has a yellow flag. That's Urban Contis once again, and also Mesut Adin. Yellow flags for the 107 and the 129, which is Piotr Masmiak and Sebastian Brell. Everyone is causing yellow flags. What is happening? As we are just passing the incident. What? That was a car sideways, I think. That was the 129. Yes, it was the 129. It was Piotr Masmiak. Sideways. So Boothby, now some time has been lost for Boothby, and there was another yellow flag there. For 107, what happened this time to the 107? Fourteenth place at the moment. Which goes over the final turns. I just let other cars pass by, nothing to worry about. If it works. Sebastian Vimosar battling with David Rancagno. The battle has been going on for a good amount of time. You can see from here quite the mess, as also there was a car with yellow flags showing for a moment on my screen. That's now Vimosar on the outside it goes, which then changes idea, becoming the inside line for Vimosar, which again the outside line, change of idea thrice in the course of a single corner. And maybe another change of idea. Yes, it is another change of idea. He goes back into the inside. Fourth is the charm at this point. And the 108 effectively completes the overtake. On the inside, Stefan Vimosar is now in 8th place in front of David Rancagno. In 9th at the moment. Also Moritz Vrobel in the Dragon Racing team and Max Schmidt in the Kalitz Racing team. Two cars are battling for position number 6. But Vrobel in the Dragon Racing team is struggling a tiny bit. A lot of grass picked up by cars ahead. 15 minutes to go. And I'll be honest, I failed my prediction. Andy King is still 16 seconds behind the two leaders, which are one after the other at the moment. Into turn 8. So this could be the overtake for Booby, for the leader. I honestly want a round in Brent Sage every single endurance round, because for 3 hours, the only time in which I had nothing to say has lasted probably 15 seconds. Also, Max Schmidt and Pranav Kalava, that is just behind. Oh, there was even a contact between Mo Robel and Schmidt, which is again, there is a possible overtake between the two. The Mercedes remains behind. Max Schmidt keeps 5th place at the moment. Kalava for a moment showed up in 5th place. Josh Booby is barely behind Alexander Zviagin. As Rancagno manages to get a position done in front of Vimozar once again. Something happened to Vimozar. He's going slow, actually. Oh, he's going very slow. He's blinking on the right. Is he going into the pits? He was just going slow for a moment. To let obviously to let the leaders pass by, but by doing so he actually lost the position on David Rancagno, which also has to let the other cars pass by. Caravallo is going very slowly right now. Probably some damage on the car. He was actually in 5th place. He lost the position on both Robel and Schmidt. But this is the time of change, as Booby is centimeters away from Zviagin's diffuser. He remains behind, actually, he remains behind. And this pass doesn't happen. There are 2 battles on screen at the moment, the one for 1st and the one for 8th place. There's also the one for 5th. As Smith is back in 5th and Robert is back in 6th. So you can see that clearly. Ooh, just now you can see also the Porsche meters behind, trying to get the overtake done on Rancagno once again. Twice is the charm. It actually should be fried, but it doesn't count in this world. It doesn't count anything at this point. I stopped believing anything, and Stefan Vimozar is back in 8th place. Is he? Because I'm not sure, since Rancagno is still side by side with him, still side by side into turn 4, into Surtees, and Rancagno is still there into 8th place. Can he remain there for 11 minutes? And the answer is unknown at this point. George Booby, even him on the overtake, this time on the outside he goes. That's into turn number 5, on the outside he tries. Can Zviagin defend the inside line? No contact between, okay, there is contact between the two. Into the grass he goes. Booby, can he make it into the 1st place with 11 minutes to go in? Yes, he does. He remains with his ideals, and he goes into 1st place. Now back into 5th, because the action never stops. This time it is Max Schmidt defending against Moritz Vrobel, with a change offline between Schmidt and Vrobel. But Vrobel remains in 6th place. Meanwhile, Dilling goes slow. That's the 113 struggling for some reasons. As you can see here, Maurice Robel very close to the car ahead. Now into the grass, so he may lose some time. Matter of fact, he did lose some time. Just a handful of times. Still not over yet. I'm questioning what happened to Calavala. Because all of a sudden this car lost 5 seconds in 2 laps. I'm not sure if it's going slow because of fuel. Or because of something else entirely. 26.3, yeah, it's going 2 seconds slower per lap at this point. Because since all the battles happened at the very same moment, now everything has to disperse once again. Every time this never fails to infuriate me, because like 3 battles at the same time, I can't follow them all, and then when finally one stops, all of them stop. So yeah, funny. 9 minutes to go. Nico Belten just behind Conatis. Now into 20th place. George Booby and Ben McConnell are minutes away from a win in Brent Hatch. And I hope you had fun so far. The race is still not over, but the major cards have been put on the table. Now only the little details remain to be agreed, and one of which is who will be in 5th. The other is who will be in 8th place. As Jagin just had a mistake in his 119th lap. And so he is now 3.5 seconds behind Boothby, effectively putting an end to the battle for first. Seven and a half minutes to go. The battle in GT4, I'll be honest, quite ended at the 30th minute after the start. But the podium battle effectively ended after the unfortunate incident for Michael Mies, as Sebastian Brel is struggling here in 135 and 31st place. So what happened to Sebastian Brel? Oh, he just didn't brake and put the car in first gear, hoping to stop. Also now there is a battle for 11th, so it's still going on. Jonas here is not happy with his 9th place. He wants at least 8th, which realistically is the most he can gain right now, unless someone underfueled, which can always happen. It's not really rare. It really happens at times. But as I said earlier, this race has been, to say the least, eventful. In 3 hours, I honestly had very few moments in which I wasn't in the action of something. So if you didn't watch the whole race, honestly, just watch it back. It was a blast until now, and it's still not over. David Rancagno is still there in 8th place and still defending for his position, the 110 ahead of the 108. Stefan Vimosar for Pit Speed Racing. And if we tumble a couple of positions down, there is also Anatoly Krytin. Remember, former leader of the race. Now battling for 11th place with his nemesis, to be fair, in this race, which is Gigi Tozogashvili. As Smith and Robel are probably not having... Okay, never mind, they just cut the gap. So maybe they are about to have a final challenge for position. You can see here that McLaren goes on the outside. It can't really decide one perfect place. In the meantime, the Porsche also goes into the inside line. That into 30s, and the McLaren off. David Rancagno can't do anything against Vimosar's placement, and that's Vimosar momentarily into 8th place. Can he maintain his place? He does so into turn 5. So maybe this one is a completed job. Can't say the same here. Can definitely say the same here. This one has been going on for 2 hours at this point. And early on ended momentarily with a crash with both drivers out into the gravel. I will rule out a second round with the very same ending on the very same spot. Here we are. The Ferrari brakes earlier and the McLaren simply goes straight. What happened to Anatoly Krytin? Into the grass he goes. On the very same spot as early on, ironically. But this time it was just a McLaren going wide. And as I said a couple of moments ago, Schmidt and Robert just cut the gap on the amount of a second. It was 8 times, or maybe 7 times early on. And also, oh, that's Quezada off into the gravel. Probably a contact, yes, it was a contact between Svatko and Quezada, with Svatko sportsmanship arises here, stays behind. I can say the same for the cars behind them that go into a free wide. So yeah, there was contact between those two and Quezada with a very nice drift, but he remains in 16th place at least. I don't know who will be the car that overtakes the other, since so many things are happening. I like to keep the action here, only 4 times between Rancagno and Vimosar, and we saw multiple times that this McLaren is not great in defending, but it's very good in attacking. And look at where the McLaren is, in an attacking position. So it's still not over with 2 minutes and a half to go. So roughly 2 laps until the end, as Bufby is just 10 seconds in front of this duo. So it's effectively 2 laps to go for everyone. Oh, big one here, New with yellow flags. He went wide in from the last corners. 1, 2, 3 also with yellow flags, but no. One crashed. Probably Rancagno thinking about a very late move, nearly putting the car inside the right door of the Aston Martin GT4 that has just been passed. But all together, this is effectively the white flag brought to you by ACC Drive for George Bufby and his teammate Ben McConnell. So for a final time, we go around the very short track, 9 turns only. Although the section between 6 and 7 has 4 corners in the middle, so No, 3 apexes. No, 4 apexes. Yes. It's 4 apexes. I can still count. Maybe. So, it's 9 in a sense, but basically it's more than 9 corners. But Booby, 10 seconds in front of Sviagin, leading the race after 3 hours. With every single incident that you can think of, every single yellow flag. I think every single corner had at least 1 yellow flag in the 3 hours. And I tried to put every single event up front, in front of you, the viewers, which make all of these into LFM a possibility, and also thanks to all of our partners you can see on the bottom part of the screen. But this is George Booby in the 101 255 competition by Go Setups that wins, thanks also to Ben McConnell, the 3 hours of Brands Hatch, with another critic with yellow flags. This point it's not even a news anymore that someone has a yellow flag in the lap. Alexander Sviagin completes the race in 2nd place, all on his own for Pepega Motorsport, as Nikolai Polyakov for 4th Club, and his teammate Anton Klimov in 1st place in class in GT4. Jamie Julians for Kalala Racing and Michael Mies for Kalitz Racing Team will follow in 2nd and 3rd in class. Andy King for QRT Esports. 3rd place for Andy King and Liam Walsh. And honestly, at this point, what happened to Anatole Krutin in the 106? Let's have a final look at a final replay. He was battling theoretically with his rival up front. Then Team 42 starting 2nd, just lost the rear on his own. This is unfortunately the image of the 106's race, which started in 2nd and ended in 13th, with just behind him Mesut Aydin, which started the race in 3rd and unfortunately started in ended the race in 14th place. First lap of the race goes to the 105 Vissal Esports with Calafala and Donk on the wheel. But it was an eventful race. It was quite an eventful race. I hope all of you enjoyed it. There was also infringement for someone. I saw someone with a 30-second penalty. It was Vegas in 407. Gonzalo Viegas, 30 seconds penalty, probably for stint limits violations. So out of 49 teams, only 44 effectively complete the race. So we go into the standings, if they are already uploaded, which I don't think so. These are probably the standings I wanted to put the results on. Oh yeah, they're already on. 4th Club won the race in front of Kalala Racing, Kalitz Racing Team in 3rd, the only cars on the lead lap. Following up Predator Racing Team, 404 and 403 with Play Team, Bushos Racing Team, Akibua Racing, Gulash, Canon Army, Slow Motion Racing, Celestial Sphere, and Cursed Performance, completing your 12 teams lineup in GT4, whilst in GT3 it is 255 competition by Go Setups that wins the race in front of Pepega Motorsport, QRT Esports, completing your podium 24 seconds behind. 255 competition, the sister team 45 seconds behind in 102, the 111 Kalitz Racing Team in 5th place, then Dragon Racing Team in 6th, unfortunately for the incident from in the middle of the straight. Then we've got Vissal Esports, Pit Speed Racing in 8th, Predator Racing Team in 9th, Aeroline Racing in 10th in the BMW, Rookie Rockets, Gribis Racing Team 12, 22 positions up from where they started from. Team 42 in position number 13. 14th for Starting Motorsport, only 14th after starting in 3rd. Team 42 starting in 2nd, so they are a duo in that thing. And Naked Evans in 15th place, Kanta Racing in 16th in Ferrari, Mexican duos ended the racing 16th, Starting Motorsport 17th, North Racing, Macamil, Reinstall, Tackle Issues in 21st, Starting Motorsport, we wreck the Racing Team 30 Sim Racing Division, Prato Racing Team, Meister Rider Racing, and then I didn't pick up who was left there. Then all the DNFs with Naga Racing YouTube, Oversteer Performance, actually, okay, never mind. Prato Racing Team, Team Speed, Moon Black Racing Team, and Mid Pack Racing all DNF from the race, and so they had 0 points on their endurance effort. In the standings, situation is as follows. Calais Racing Team still leads in front of Bush Racing Team and Kalala Racing in 3rd. So their lead is still standing up by less than 1,000 points. And in GT3 we've got a slightly different situation with Simmer Siendos Bebarni that is still about 4,000 points ahead of Carvel Motorsport. Team Felix Racing follows in 3rd. Team 42 and Firefly Racing in 4th and 5th place. Whew, that was eventful. It was definitely eventful. The next race is oh god. Oh god. There can't be anything less than worse than Brent Sash, right? But there is Bathurst. Try to make an overtake there in the mountain section with the GT4s. Bathurst is the next round, then Barcelona, Silverstone, and the Nürburgring. This is the whole calendar with the Pro Series that gets broadcasted every Thursday. Next Thursday it should be Olaf's turn, so you will get some time to hear back from me or John that had last Thursday's round. But anyway, in every case, hope you all had a nice race. It was quite eventful, I really enjoyed it, and it was full of everything. For once, I had 3 hours in which every single moment counted. I was Cristian Romano. I hope you all had a good time in the race. Thanks to all of our partners, Box 1 Racing, PMAX, Sync Mesh, Nitro Concept, Kskin.de, ACC Drive, Ghost Setups, Hesner, and Paddock's Legends for being our sponsors. Have a good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!